one of the things I loved the most about the animated movie was the servants. I love their personality. I love the way they were designed. Their lives were so interesting, and there was so much. I almost loved them more than the main characters because they were just so endearing, and that is one thing I think was not as good in the live action adaptation. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because Belle and the Beast are still the title characters. Beauty and the Beast are the most important. So if you can get that right and do that better, then good on ya. It pains me to see some of my favorite characters be just kind of relegated to the background, but they're background characters, so I can't fault the movie for doing that. And yeah, I kind of made peace with the designs. When I first saw the designs, I think I had the same reaction that a lot of people. It was way too over-designed. Cogsworth in particular, I felt like there was too much going on with him. I kind of got over it. The way that he was animated in the film, it's easy to focus on the face and the hands, which are the most expressive parts of the body. So I kind of got used to his design as the movie wore on. Lumiere, he grew on me as well. It was really clever to have Lumiere's face be like etchings within the metal of the candlestick itself. I thought that was nice. Although it did kind of bother me that he was animated with like coattails and feet, because it made him seem less like a candelabra and more like just a little gold man. Like one of the things I always loved. I was listening to behind the scenes stuff on the old Beauty and the Beast DVD, and the guy who animated Lumiere said that one of his first scenes was the in Be Our Guest, when Lumiere is doing course by course, one by one. He's kind of doing like the kick line, and he said, well, how do you animate a character kicking who has no feet? So he said, well, I kind of like turn the bodies like course by course, one by one, and so he kind of turns his body and kicks with like different sides of the base, and it's like, so exercise that level of creativity with the model. And I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to, but I would almost think that would make some things easier if he doesn't have 2 feet, if he just has one base, that's fewer rigging points that you need on your model. And the weird thing is, like, when he's in like candle mode, he does have a base instead of feet, so that just weirded me out even more. Whatever. The wardrobe, I really love the wardrobe. Talk about creativity. Like, instead of like a cartoony face, she has like, she opens up her drawers, and like the curtains of the wardrobe itself make up her eyes and her face, and it almost looks like she's wearing like a masquerade ball mask with the trimming around the curtains. It was really creative, and I loved watching the wardrobe when she was animated. The 2 best musical numbers were still the best executed, which Be Our Guest, I loved the way it was performed and animated, although they did a weird joke throughout the number where they kept like pulling food away from Belle, which I couldn't understand because it's supposed to be this great feast. And I mean, to be fair, in the animated movie version, we didn't see her eat very much, but we did see her like grab bits and pieces as it was pulled, as the food was paraded past her. And we can imagine that the times where the camera wasn't focused on her, she was actually eating. But they kept doing this joke where like Belle's trying to eat and Lumiere like puts her fork down, and it's like, I don't get it. The whole point is they're supposed to be feeding her this lavish feast, and I was like, why did you do that? That's the kind of thing where I mean, like, I don't understand why they made some of the changes that they made. Like, Maurice talks a lot in the beginning, and a lot of his dialogue is unnecessary. Yeah. Oh, another thing, speaking of Maurice, I always like films where the message is that destiny is something that you make yourself. And in this version, Maurice does not choose the wrong path just, because he's making a dumb choice. He's going on his way to the market, and a tree is struck by lightning and falls onto the path, and he's forced to go to the way of the Beast Castle. And that to me is just not as strong. Forcing someone onto a path is not as strong as them making the choice to take the wrong path. I'll give you another example of like the Prince of Egypt, another animated movie I love. When they do the burning bush scene, they have Moses chasing a sheep up the side of the mountain, and he's kind of hearing some whispers that he's not quite sure what it is, and like he has a sense that there's something mysterious off to the side, but he's chasing the sheep, so the right thing to do would be to keep, as a good shepherd, would be to keep following this sheep. But he's like, no, I'm gonna check out this weird noise over here, and it's it's something that he chooses, and so destiny is something that you make for yourself. And I know it's a nitpicky thing, but there you go. But Kevin Kline made a good Maurice. Really fun, really enjoyable. They did a better job, I think, with the backstories of Belle and the Beast. Not to spoil Belle's backstory, but we actually find out about her mother, and it kind of, it explains a lot about her and her family and her father especially, and the Beast gets to know this about her, and by doing that, it helps him to know her better, and it's just, love it. Also in this version, the servants tell Belle about the curse, and she says, I want to help you, which I really enjoyed. I liked that a lot. It says a lot about her character that, she started out at this castle out of obligation, and, through, as she stays and gets to know these people and wants to stay with them and help them out, and wants to help them, and they don't tell her how to break the curse, which is good. I like that they included that detail. One other thing I really enjoyed, when the servants are talking about the curse, they tell Belle a little bit about the Beast's backstory, which again, she's learning more about him and understanding him, and the other nice thing is that the first scene in the movie is the prince holding this magnificent ball, and the voiceover is saying, which I'm pretty sure it was Emma Thompson, which, again, it's like I can recite that David Ogden Stiers monologue in my sleep, and I love Stiers, and I love his voice, but, I love Emma Thompson too, so whatever. So she's doing the narration, and she's saying, the prince was, spoiled and bratty, and he threw these lavish parties so that he could have all the most beautiful things and all the most beautiful people in his castle, and I loved that. It's just seeing more that he was spoiled and selfish and didn't care about what was really important in life. Seeing that as opposed to just being told it, which I guess you are being told with the narration, but you're also seeing it as opposed to the stained glass. Not that the stained glass wasn't beautiful, and I love the stained glass, from the 91 movie. It's like, I'm so conflicted. It's hard because, I feel like I should say definitively one way or the other which one was better, but I don't know. They're both good in their own way, and I feel like such a cop-out for saying that. I feel like I should either be saying, the 2017 one, because they did the most important things better, then yes, it's easily the better version, but am I letting nostalgia cloud my judgment of the 91 version? But it did do some things better. They're both good. They're both good in their own way, and I think that's probably the best thing the highest praise I can give both of them, that they both can still stand on their own. There were, I guess, to nitpick again, there were a couple times I felt like they maybe got carried away with the imagery, in this new movie when Belle is shown to her room for the first time. The camera does a pan around the room, but it focuses on these weird golden branches that are hanging down from the ceiling, which I'm still not entirely sure what they were. some kind of decoration, I assume. But I don't know what exactly they were, but it's focusing, like the focus is on these weird golden branches, and everything else, like the walls and the furniture, is out of focus, and I did not understand why they did it that way. Until Belle gets all dressed up for the ball, and the wardrobe is like, oh, something's missing, and the branches start to disintegrate, and like little gold pieces like fall down from these branches and lay on her dress and make up the sparkly parts of her dress. And I was, all I could think was, this is important and necessary to be focusing on. Stuff like that. That, I think, is what's holding me back from saying the 2017 version is definitely better, because they did crap like that. Which, I don't care. I don't care how the sparkles got on Belle's dress. Cut that out. Literally cut it out. And, people were complaining about Belle's dress, saying it's not, it doesn't look like something from the period. The 91 version didn't look like something from the period either. But this, I get what they're saying. They're saying, this especially didn't look like it was from the period. It looks like a prom dress. It's got all the sparkles and the ruffles. Also, I didn't like that. Like, she has some kind of ear ornament. I didn't get that. I didn't really like it. I did think it was cool. Like, in the beginning, the first scene you see with the prince, he's got like this blue and gold eye makeup on, which also I don't know, but I liked it. I thought that looked cool. I honestly don't know what else to say. When it comes down to it, the animated version will always hold a special place in my heart. I'll always love it. It will always be my favorite Disney movie ever. The 2017 version got the most important things right, which were, well, first of all, the relationship between Belle and the Beast, which is the most important thing. It got their characters a little better than the 91 version, and it got a lot of the relationships much better, except for perhaps the servants. They might have been a little better in the animated version, because they were kind of pushed to the background in this movie. Although, you still get to know them quite a bit, and you still care for them a lot, and there's a very emotional scene with them close to the end, which was very effective. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. All the effects were really good. Like, there was nothing that really jumped out at me as being like, wow, but they were also, they also weren't bad. So, the Beast, I loved the way the Beast looked. He was very expressive, incredibly expressive, which helped to connect with him and feel his character a lot. And, the objects looked fine. I made my peace with Cogs. I still didn't really like Mrs. Potts's ship with the weird painted ceramic faces. Although, to be fair, they were probably the hardest ones to adapt into the live action style, because you can't really do the kind of faces that they had in the animated one. The castle itself looks really nice. It's covered in snow for most of the movie. The interior is really nice. The village where Belle lives is nice. The mob scene is cool. When they do Gaston, the Gaston musical number is probably the third best in the movie, after Be Our Guest in the title track. So yeah, I can't really say either way, one way or the other, which one was better. Although the 2017, this new movie did get the most important things better than the animated movies, much as it hurts me to say. If I were to give it a rating, jeez, I don't know. I want to say 2.5 stars. I don't feel like it was a 3-star movie. But it was very good. Definitely, I would definitely recommend seeing it. If you're a fan of the 91 Disney movie, definitely check it out. If you have been enjoying Disney's adaptations, I think this this was a fantastic one. So yeah, please let me know what you thought of the film in the comments down below, and if there's anything you disagree with me about the movie, please feel free to let me know about that too. I heard that Disney's doing a lot of adaptations of their old animated films, which are well, but I guess we'll see how it goes from here. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.